Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well. It's a gloomy sort of early evening in London, and I wanted to talk about a couple of newish purchases from Charlotte Tilbury, and I've paired it with this item, which isn't a new purchase. I've had the concealer for quite a few months now, but I'm not sure I've ever talked about it. So I thought, whilst we're having a Charlotte Tilbury session, why not mention that too? It's suddenly gone a bit dark. Let's get the light over my shoulder a little bit. Those of you who've followed me for a while know I have a slightly fraught relationship with Charlotte Tilbury. I do like some of the products. I think she markets brilliantly. Some of the vintage packaging is very appealing. I think she probably pumps out too many products, so they're a fairly variable quality. But I've thought some of her products, even from the very beginning, I'm thinking particularly of Magic Cream, which was her first moisturiser, one of the first products that she claimed she'd used for years on her makeup artist clients, is one of the worst products on the market. It's just like Nivea with a bit of glitter in it, as far as I can tell. And I kind of object to the idea of calling something magic and then not telling you what the ingredients are. But there are some good products. And yeah, she's great at the marketing. So one of the good products, one of the recent good products is this concealer, which, as I say, I've had for some months now. It's the Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. I have it in, shoving my glasses on. Can I even see with my glasses? 2.5 Fair. There's a good colour range of this, and one of the pluses of Charlotte Tilbury, I think she does overall quite a good colour range. She certainly caters for fair-skinned women, unsurprisingly given her own colouring, but from what I can judge, she also covers women of colour quite well for a predominantly European cosmetic house. So the Radiant Concealer, why I like it is it's a liquid concealer, obviously. It's nicely presented, substantial packaging, liquid, but quite creamy, blendable, buildable, without showing up your wrinkles too much. It melts pretty well into the skin. And what I like about it as a concealer is I can use it not just under the eyes, which is the main area where I use a concealer, and for kind of pinpoint concealing, which I don't do as much. But sometimes if I'm not wearing any foundation, or I'm wearing a very lightweight coverage, not foundation, maybe a tinted moisturiser, a CC cream or something like that, and I want to cover a bigger area, like, for example, my chin, which I find needs some help. This works. It can cope with bigger areas and yet blend sufficiently well around the edges, not to matter that you're not wearing any other coverage. So I do recommend this as a mid-priced concealer. It's not cheap, but it's not up there with the super expensive houses. As I say, I've had that for a while. This is a relatively new product, although you will have seen, undoubtedly, if you're a makeup fiend, various YouTube videos about people trying this one. It's the Unreal Skin. You see, why do we call something unreal? Yeah, there we go, marketing. Unreal Skin Sheer Glow Tint Hydrating Foundation Stick, which came out this summer. So she's brought out a foundation stick quite late in the game, actually, because they've been around and relatively popular for quite a while. And her USP to distinguish her from the rest of the market is the glowiness and the hydration aspect of a foundation stick, because I think foundation sticks are kind of perceived to be potentially a bit drying, and if they're not, to rely on quite a big oil concentration, which makes them a bit more difficult for oilier skins to wear. I'm not sure if you flash the cash at a good foundation stick. My favourite is Tom Ford by a long chalk, is true. But they're not usually glowy. So this one showed some very glowy results in the marketing. I picked number 2, Fair Clear. So I don't think this was the lightest, but down there. Now, is this going to show? Yeah, now you can see, even in my poor lighting, the glow reads shine. She's, again, a bit like the Magic Cream, using some glittery substance, the chemists amongst you, and if I bothered to go and read the ingredients, I'd be able to find out exactly what it is that's making it as shimmery, almost like a highlight stick, really. Now, it does blend in nicely. It feels nice on the skin, not super greasy. It does feel as if it stays on the surface of the skin a little more than, for example, I have here Westman Atelier, which is quite a nice foundation stick. You can see there, far less shiny, far matte. Definitely, I can feel that kind of going into the skin and moisturising more than this than sits on the skin. And then, of course, my favourites are the Tom Ford, which I've had for years. I've got 2 shades because I'm between 2. You can see how much I've used this one. And I'm going to put that. That's actually the darker one. The Tom Ford is a bit stiffer. This is the darker shade that I have in the summer, but definitely feels moist, but none of that sheen. Now, I do quite like this Charlotte Tilbury because you know I like the glowy look, although this borders on wet rather than glowy. My issue with it is I tend to use my foundation sticks not for full face coverage, but again to perhaps touch up T-zone and chin and maybe forehead a little, and not wear anything or wear something very light on the rest of the face. This is definitely too shiny for the chin. There's no way I want my chin to glow. I'm wanting to, tone it down. And so this isn't a one and done product for me. I'm fine with it, actually, on the cheeks and the rest of the face. So if I was wearing kind of more stick foundation over more of the face, but excluding the chin, because I can use it on the chin and then powder it down, rather kind of undermines the glowy principle, but that definitely works. It just doesn't quite fit in my uses for a stick foundation, but I do quite like it. The other product, I'm not quite sure why I bought this. This is the Flawless Filter for Superstar Youth Glow. So it's a liquid highlighter, basically. I don't really love liquid highlighters, it has to be said. But I got this for some reason, and it's okay. To be honest, I'm not sure it's as glowy as the stick foundation. It applies quite nicely. What it reminded me of is Benefit's High Beam which is years old. One of the first liquid highlighters I had. Ooh, a bit too much. Slightly different colour spectrum, but goes on very similarly. This is years old. It still works. I'm suspecting if Benefits still do high beam, I haven't looked, I bet they do. I'd equally bet it's a lot cheaper than Charlotte Tilbury's version, which is very, very similar. So you'd probably be better looking at Benefit for that. I think there are a lot of very nice higher end liquid highlighters these days, if that's your jam, as it were. So of those three products, my only kind of unconditional endorsement is for that beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. I do think that's a really good mid-price concealer, multi-use. If you can get the right shade for you and there's a good range, it's a great concealer. The stick foundation, not bad, but I think if you're going for a stick foundation, Tom Ford is a lot more expensive. I do quite like the Westman Atelier one. I think that's a nice one. Also expensive, of course. You get what you pay for, don't you? So I hope that was interesting to some of you, and always look forward to reading your comments. And I will see you all again very soon. Until then, bye for now.